people that don't get an opportunity to turn up live and listen in, please, if you get the chance, come to our Discord on a weekly basis. It is every week, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. UK, and whatever time else that is anywhere else in the world. So look, we do these live. We are here every week, and we really do appreciate those people who turn up. And if you've got questions, please bring them. And if you've got questions while we're on live now, please put them in the AMA live chat, and we will answer as many or all of those as we go through. Andy, do you want to just give an update of where we are this week and what's happened? Because we've got a couple of things we need to tell people.
Yeah, so the Frog and Bucket event ran. We've had lots of really good feedback about that. There's a couple of things from an administrative point of view that it'll be a bit of an ongoing debate with the wider team. But yeah, lots of positive feedback. I'm just waiting to hear back from Jessica, actually, Simon, on having a meeting tomorrow to push forward with more shows and things like that, which is really positive with the Frog and Bucket. We will be getting a 360 camera installed there. We're just waiting to work out what the best way of doing that is. So I'm fully anticipating the new year we will live stream live shows into the Infiniverse from the Frog and Bucket, because this one was a pre-recorded one. Most of the shows we've done have been pre-recorded. The simple reason is that it's not complicated tech, but it's tricky getting everything sorted for everybody at different times. So we are working on that. There will always be a mixture going in from the new year. We've got a show on Thursday evening. Can't remember the time now, but it's been shared up loads on social media for the Philadelphia one with Next Chain Media. That's DC, who'll be putting in some stuff there. Who's a really good partner of ours now. I've booked about another 4 shows in for him on Oculus. I'll be sharing those through our new social sharing platform into all the social channels the end of this week and next. So please show all the tweets some love, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. There's going to be a lot more going out. You may have heard Jane just saying there she set up a new channel on Discord for the marketing team. There's going to be some more training on that back end on how things can be shared. But yeah, if you see anything, please share it, tweet it, tag people in. We're starting to build quite a nice bit of momentum on that, and this new system we have gives us a lot of stats on the back end that helps us with the comedy groups, which is really good. Gotham's still all in the pipeline. There's just been a few things that have slowed it down, but one of our partners is picking that back up again, which is really good. So yeah, lots of really positive things. There are a few other bits in the pipeline, but I'm not sure when we want to announce some of those, Simon, in terms of events. I'll use that term more broadly. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more shows booked in. I did speak with DC earlier, and the schedule that we've got there, I think it's looking like 20 to 30 shows are going to be running by mid-February from this point, which is really good. And hopefully a few more with the Frog and Bucket. I know Antoine's on with some Snooki stuff again, because they've had some challenges at their end. They've not been able to film stuff. So yeah, it's all very positive indeed. I think what might be good, Jane, at some point, is to do a bit of a formal poll on what people think of the shows and some of the content. And again, it's going to be very, very subjective because everybody's got different styles of humour. But it might be worth trying to have a think about doing a bit of a poll early in the new year on what's gone so far, what people like, what they don't like, and more just to garner some suggestions really and thoughts going forward. I think it does help having different clubs for the different brands, for the different style of comedy as well. We'll start to flesh that out more as we go forward, so people will know that if I go to this club, it might be Newbies. If I go to this, it's this particular club. If I go here, it's this one. So all that's been worked on as well. So, but again, any comments, any suggestions, please share them. I'd rather people not share in the main chat, but would share either as direct messages or in the VIP, just so we can, sort of get a clear picture of what people think about things. So yeah, cool, all good.
No, I think, look, if people have got the opportunity, please, if you're a member of this project, and particularly if you're turning up on these AMAs week in, week out, I don't think people necessarily realise how big what we are doing is and where we are on the edge of absolutely exploding as a project. And I know there's an element of patience involved, because we would all like the entirety of the crypto market to turn around tomorrow. I can't see that happening just yet. Not this side of Christmas anyway, because people are pulling money out. There's still a lot of FUD out there in terms of the FTX saga, and what might wash out at the back end of that still to come. One of the guys from JP Morgan said today, I think, that he believes crypto is dead. Well, it's just another one of those, somebody piling on the misery onto, they don't believe, or they would not like us to succeed in what we're doing in terms of DeFi. I think we're way past that, and the horse has already bolted. But importantly, if you are going to get the opportunity, even if you haven't got an Oculus, we can give you the link to watch those shows. So please don't share that around, because it is strictly supposed to be watched through the Oculus device. It's not for streaming into normal web too. But if you're a member of this community, we can give you those links and you can watch. And I'm sure they're not going to get shared miles everywhere, right? But what we're building here is the foundation for what we consider to be a multi-million, 10 million, $100 million business in the future. And that, some people might laugh at that, but when we've looked over the proposals for the build of our app, and it will be a web app, importantly, not an app that's on the App Store, because if you stick it in the App Store or in Google Play, you end up paying between 20 and 30% to those boys, which we don't want to do, especially as we're a Web3 project. So we will stay as far away from them as we can and have a web app where it's available on the internet, right? And people can then link through to our metaverses. The important thing is also we're doing it this way because at the moment, 99, I don't know what the percentages are, but I'd imagine 99% of the population don't own a VR headset. And of those that do, many don't go in regularly enough into the metaverse yet anyway, because there's not enough content there. So when we roll this up and we get to the point where we are hopefully standing on stage in Miami in late March, early April next year, and able to run what we consider, we think we're going to be able to run the first ever multi-metaverse comedy festival across, with all of these metaverses supporting us, right? We were talking to, and this is not just name dropping, this is actual things that are happening in the back of this project. We've been speaking to the people that are already signed to run the metaverse experience for the Super Bowl next year. And they want to be able to have maybe, and I use the word maybe, comedy as an option for people to experience as part of that, that offer during that week and the lead up to it. Now, that led us into talking to a group of people who are backed by Floyd Mayweather. And if you don't know who Floyd is, look him up, but he's one of the most famous boxers of all time, was at one time pound for pound the best fighter in the world, but he backs a few different metaverse projects, and we are starting to come up on his radar through other people. Now, it's not to say that we're having a meeting with him. There is one scheduled, and we are hoping to be in part of that meeting. Now, that's important because when we get that level of person looking at our project and giving us a rubber stamp to say, right, okay, we're going to help you. That's all we want, a bit of help. We're not after money, right? We're after those type of people saying, go and look at these guys, right? Understand that this is a serious project and is a real world business. And once we get that app, and we are negotiating the terms of the app, because within the build of it, there are commissions, there are costs, there's all sorts of things going into that. We believe that we are a test case for them. The people who are building the app are also the people who are building and I'll be careful how I phrase this, but the DeFi / wallet experience for the Super Bowl, for the NFL, for the NFL of its entirety. Now, that's not public knowledge, and therefore I'm not going to tell you who it is, but the build of that is already signed, and the people who are building our app are those people, and those people are guaranteeing themselves probably 5 to 10 million users on the week of the Super Bowl. Now, once we get to the point of being involved on there and being one of their showcase projects, think where that takes us as a project, right? That just explodes our visibility, our ability to attract advertisers and sponsors, and obviously those sponsors will be put in place before that event happens, because we're not going to run a comedy festival for a month during March, April without it being sponsored. So all of these things are coming together. There's a lot of moving parts. Nothing's set in stone yet, and we don't overpromise and we don't tell people that things are happening when they are not. But we're just giving you a flavour for the type of conversations that we're having at the moment and the type of level of person that is looking at our project, right? So it's all really, really exciting. Once it gets signed, that's when obviously everybody can get really, behind the project. But the amount of exposure that will come from that when we launch that alongside the new token, the new utility, everything that comes with that, and we're in a funny point in terms of DeFi at the moment. In terms of, you've got some people like JP Morgan saying crypto's dead. You've got banks, institutions, governments fighting over. It can't disappear. They're all fighting over the land grab, right? In terms of they want to position themselves in the best place for the future when that corner is turned. And when that corner does turn, that's the moment we want to be on the radar of everybody, because we will be a legitimate Web3 metaverse in real life business that's doing something, I want to use the word proper, right? Not promising the earth, saying we're going to launch X, Y, and Z, and that's what's changing in the whole crypto landscape. A lot of these projects that are, they promised, they made unrealistic promises, but people believed the hype. When we come out of this phase, and it is a phase, and who knows how long it's going to take, right? Personally, I hope it's a couple of 3 months that we, things really start moving in, and we're seeing the financial markets move in a better direction from the UK and the US perspective already. It's not to say that this cycle doesn't turn into a depression for a while. All of that macroeconomic stuff that we all enjoy thinking about and trying to second guess what's going to happen. All of that's got to play out before we really press the big button and get everything. We're lining it up. We're in a perfect position. We're in a building phase. That means that we don't have to worry about sitting here with a token that could go down another 50 to 80%. There's people talking about. I've been talking about Bitcoin at sub 10k for a long time, and the patience that it's requiring to stay out of the market. They are still washing a lot of people out, and you'll see it pumping and dumping, and it may well pump to 25, 26k. Who knows before another dump down, right? But I can't see it. There is no good news on the horizon at the moment, and probably more bad news over the next 2 months, right? And that's when we're going to hit the bottom, and we'll be able to see when it turns the corner, and that's when we press the really big red button that says let's go. Okay, so I apologize to everybody that it's not as quick as everybody might necessarily like. We are positioning ourselves in the best place for all of you, and look, I
think I would add as well, I think we've always said this project isn't just a token project, crypto project. It's not just NFT, it's not just Metaverse, it's now also kind of app based. And I think we're positioning ourselves in Web3, in Web2, in people's minds as a brand, and really from a perspective of probabilities, we're trying to position ourselves for the best opportunity across all the platforms, because comedy is a mass market thing. It's not just a DeFi thing. It's not just a metaverse thing. It's not just a TV thing. It's got the ability to be everywhere. So I think we are positioning ourselves really well. And as a real business, as a real brand, we had conversations earlier about, the whole Securities Commission and all that kind of stuff, the SEC. If we are seen as a legitimate business, as a legitimate brand that is across all these platforms, engaging with people and brands and advertisers and delivering on what we say, then the project will be very, very, very successful. So I think it's a really good opportunity for us to really push forward. Really, really good. He's there. He's at the bottom. Coming back on, Simon.
I got cut off. Yeah, must have been. I don't know. Maybe one of the JP Morgan lads was listening in and decided that I was slagging them off too much. But no, look. If there's any questions, can we please get them in the AMA live chat? I can't see any as yet. Let me just. Let me just check. Traveling Tom says smart move on holding the launch of the token. Well, we've been definitely waiting, and we are going to be waiting, and we'll be waiting a while, I think. So it's difficult to say. It is so difficult to say exactly a date when that's going to launch, and at least P2B have given us the good grace to say when we're ready we can engage their services. But we are still speaking to a couple of the venture capital groups. We're also speaking to a couple of the launch pads. We'll have it teed up. When we go back and look at how we launched in the first place over a year ago and spent 6 months building up to that, and the amount of mistakes we made, and we're still here, and we've got to the point where we have a business that genuinely is valued in the millions easily. When we see some of these projects that are getting funded and they're getting, well, I know of a project that I wouldn't have given 10 pence to, but got given $5 million. And we are exploring the opportunity of putting this project front and centre in front of a lot of those big investors. Look, when you start talking to people like Floyd Mayweather, he knows people, and he's trusted by a lot of people, and you start getting into those sort of circles, we really are going somewhere. So I hope everybody's excited. I know it's hard to get excited when we're in a bit of a hiatus and we're just, we are in a building phase. You are going to see a lot more going on in the social side. You're going to see that growth. You are seeing more shows. Please go and watch those shows, right? And tell people to come and watch them. That's probably the biggest thing that you guys as a community can do when you're wandering around in the metaverse, right? Tell people to go and watch it, and tell people to come and listen to these AMAs, right? And tell people to join now, because when it comes to that launch, if we can build up to a few hundred people in this group listening on a weekly basis, and then we get all of you talking about it while we're on stage and while we're launching, that's going to be massive. All right, that's what, the one thing that you guys can really do is start shilling the project for us now. And you don't need to shill it, just tell people to come and see what's going on. Yeah, they can make their own minds up.
Share the stuff on social. Share all the tweets, all the Facebook stuff you see on social about the shows. Comment on it and just share the excitement around it. That will be a massive, massive help.
So Andy, we need to talk about VIPs as well, don't we?
Oh right, I'd forgotten about that bit, Simon.
Yeah, sorry. Don't forget the VIPs.
Don't forget the VIPs.
Yeah, look. Over the next week, we're going to make sure we've got everybody in that group positioned properly, and everybody who is owed VIP will be upgraded to that at that point. I think the majority of the people in here have already qualified. that's when we're going to start giving some education, because Andy and I are starting a project. I'm not going to name it just yet, but we will be giving a lot of education in the crypto space and in forex trading, and showing people opportunities to make money even in a market while it's going down. Now, not everybody's, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but if you're a VIP, you're going to get free access to that, and that's something that we will be charging hundreds of dollars for to people that are not members of this community. So you guys have earned your way into that, and as long as you stick around, you will learn a lot, hopefully. And Andy and I have learned an incredible amount over the last couple of years, and we're lucky enough to have some very, very talented people who are helping us, some people with amazing connections, and some people that are making genuinely millions of dollars a month. Not that we wish we were, but we are going to ride on the coattails of a lot of these people and share all of that knowledge back to you guys, so that you can, one, obviously do very well for yourselves, but two, bring other people into the community so that one, they can benefit, and two, they can genuinely meet a project that we hope this time next year will be one of the biggest projects on earth, and there's no reason why not. Andy, anything you want to add to that?
No, I just think I think there's a few things that we'd like to talk about, but we just need a little bit more time to tee things up. I mean, we've got some pretty hefty documents to go through and proposals over the next sort of week. But it would be nice to be able to announce a couple of things possibly next week or the week after, or at least indicate that they're moving in that direction. And I think it's super exciting that we're able to talk about a project in the scale that we are, in the ways that we are. And, it's on a lot of people's radar. We know somebody who's just been places, who's spoken to a lot of people about the project. There's a lot of interest. I think with a lot of investors, they're just being slightly cautious at the moment because of how things are. But I absolutely, definitely think the first few months of next year are going to be really, really big for us. We're delivering on things. That's the thing. We are actually delivering on things, and things will be happening even more that are going to get us noticed. So I think it's just really exciting time. Can't wait for it. Bring on next year.
Yeah, we are getting noticed. That's the important thing. And I have had some people message me, and Andy and I had this conversation about 2 hours ago, so we don't have an answer to it yet. But I had some people message me with concerns that the new ecosystem, i.e. the token and the NFT holders receiving revenue from sponsors and advertisers, would make this project a security. Now, I'm not scared of that, and I have openly said that to other people that have messaged me, because I genuinely believe that it might be 6 months, it might be a year, it might be a bit longer, but when the whole washout comes out of this crypto, DeFi, Web3, what the governments and institutions are trying to do at the moment is beat it down with a big stick, right? And they've got the opportunity because of the way the economy's moving. So as people start getting scared, withdrawing from exchanges, and I'll be honest, I've withdrawn all of mine from exchanges. Not a single piece of my crypto sits on any exchange at the moment. It all sits in MetaMask or on my Trezor, waiting, and it is a patience game, waiting, right? I will be waiting as long as it takes, and I have been waiting with the majority of it since May, right? So I've probably been out of the market mostly for 6 months nearly, and I may well be out of the market for another 3 or 4 months. But in that time, I am researching and building a list, and that list will get shared with the people in VIP, right, when the time comes, right? And we'll work together. We will work together. But getting back to my original point, will this project be a security, and people can play this video back to their heart's content, and maybe one day somebody from the SEC listens to this webinar and the recording of it, right? we are not scared to be a security, because I believe that every project that comes out the other side, when regulation comes, they either need to be a security, or you're trying to fiddle the system, right? You are trying to make something that isn't a security for the sake of it. Because, I've seen projects that are deliberately putting an NFT up, and then owning that NFT allows you to stake it, which gets you income on another token, etc., etc., etc. That is circumvention of the system, when in truth you never put your money in to get no money out. You can't tell me there's anybody in this project who's not in it to make a buck, right? Of course we all are. And if anybody can say they're not, well, maybe we're a charity, and we're not. Charities in DeFi may well become a thing in the future, but you will see a whole new world. You will see a whole new way of working in the next 6 months to a year, because regulation is coming. And when it comes, people who are running decent projects will need to comply. And the people who want to take part in those projects will also need to comply, right? So it's all right saying, there's people in DeFi that the reason they don't want to dox their wallet is because they don't want to pay tax. Well, guess what? In future, you will pay tax on your profits, right? People will be paying tax, dependent on which country they are in, and which country that project is headquartered in, etc., etc. So just think of the ramifications around that, because it's going to affect all of us in years to come. And when this next bull run starts, be it next spring, next autumn, or the following year, because it could well be 2024 if you look at the cycle of things and the way the global economy moves in cycles, and it does. So when that happens and that bull run happens, you will all have the opportunity, and I believe it's probably one of the last opportunities, to make absolutely generational wealth, right? Quickly and easily, just by surrounding yourself with the right people and the right advice, and being very careful and prudent and not rushing into things. So we will do our very best to be those people and help you. And we're going to continue our educational journey, and are making our connections with the right people, and taking advice where we need to. Part of that advice, it will surround, where do we headquarter this project in the future, and which government. And if you're listening, if there are people listening to this eventually who are from governments. I had a conversation with one of the guys from the Bank of England. I would absolutely love the British government to come to me and say, Simon, you are one of the leaders in DeFi and Web3 and running crypto projects in the UK. Could you please help us? And by the way, please headquarter your project in the UK, and we will help you and do everything to help you, because that's where governments should be. But if in the meantime somebody comes from the US, from the Security Commission, and says, right, we understand that your project is a security. Would you like to headquarter yourself in the US? And we'll help you, and we will make sure that you get the best advice and work within the laws and regulation. Yes, please, because it's coming. It's absolutely coming, right? You can't dodge. You can't hide from, there's no point in ducking and diving and trying to stay out of the sights of these people when you're going to run what could be one of the biggest projects in the world, right? That's, there's loads of people running shit coins and memes and things that are never going to come to anything, right? Please steer away and do your research and find the projects that have got, look at the way Polygon is set up, right? Look at the way Matic is attracting the really big projects like Disney, and Starbucks and all these others that are coming now. And you're going to see the integration of real world into DeFi over the next 6 months to a year. Pay attention, because this is the opportunity of a lifetime, right? We sat here, everyone in this room should be a multi-millionaire in 5 years' time. Please replay this webinar, right, or this AMA in 5 years' time and come back and look at your name on it. And if you followed along, I'll be very surprised if everybody isn't doing very, very well. And make it your mission, as we are, to bring people with you and help other people. When we get to put you in a position where you can genuinely make a difference in other people's lives, please do. Because that's why we're here, right? To help other people. We're going to help ourselves, but you are too, right? And I want you to help others as well. And it's going to make a massive difference over the next year. But we just got to be a little bit patient for the next few months. And I know that seems like an eon, right, in DeFi terms, and it will do. But at the moment, the big bad stick is hanging over everybody's head, and we just need them to make their minds up what's going on. And it's going to wash out very, very soon, because you've got governments saying that they're going to take Bitcoin. There's a race. They all want the adoption of the blockchain. They just don't know how to integrate it with DeFi. It's coming because they're gonna make everything digital. Like you won't see cash. You won't see cash in 5 or 10 years' time. It's not possible. So we will all be doxed. We will all be having digital wallets. Those of you on this side of the line, i.e. you are already in the space, have the opportunity. When mass adoption comes and the other 90% of the population decide they want to get involved or are forced to be involved, that's when everything massively explodes. Like you wouldn't believe. Like, think about that scenario with the Super Bowl next year and 5 to 10 million people, the majority of whom don't use DeFi crypto at the moment, get dropped NFTs. And then they go, oh, what's this project? What's this comedy project? I like comedy. I'll watch some of this. And our sponsors go, this is amazing, right? Our sponsors go, how does Coca-Cola get involved with Joke? That's when this goes through the roof, right? You won't stop it then. It's just a case of divvying up the spoils and giving it to the right people, i.e. not giving it to YouTube or Facebook or any of these others that, like, look at Apple, right? Apple and Google Play. Google are the biggest. They're a nightmare for business, right? We run a YouTube ads agency, and we see every day changes in the way that Google operates just to try and squeeze another penny out of you as an advertiser. We're not going to do that. We just have a clean set of rules. One of the conversations we had last week with Alex Stern, one of our advisors and founders in the project, Alex said to us, you've got to be very clear. One of the bits of advice he gave us is you have to be really clear as how revenue is split up, right? And it'll be surprisingly enough, guess how that gets done? With a smart contract, right? That will never get changed. Once it's set in stone, it's set in stone. So we won't have arguments like so-and-so got this and so-and-so got that, and why didn't I get this when they got that? Because they will, if a comedian contributes, they get X. A club contributes, they get X. If the club brings the comedian, the club gets paid, and the club decides how that split goes down to the comedians under their control, right? There's going to be no arguments. There will be no side hustles, right? It will be very, very clear and transparent. And that, if you're listening to this is how the Web3 future of the world evolves, right? In terms of taxes, in terms of revenue, in terms of people getting paid, in terms of cost of goods and services across the globe. And it will take a while to wash out. But the exciting bit for you guys is you're here at the very beginning, watching it happen and watching it evolve. Just pay attention, right? That's all that's going to need to happen. And those of you that are in VIP, look, I don't want to preach, right? Because I'm getting preachy now. But we're at the point where you can and will. It is so exciting, right? I hope you can feel that, right? I hope people feel excited about what's going on. Andy, do you want to look like, I don't know whether I've gone completely off topic.
I I'm just sat here chuckling. No, I think the point you've made is, and centralised digital currencies from the banks are coming. Cashless society is coming. There'll always be a bits of underground stuff going on, but the world is changing. The way we experience things, the way we do business, everything is changing. And, this whole thing about where we end up, I just think it's really good for the project, because in order to be super, super, super successful for all of us, it has to go mass market, does this project. And that means to the other 99%. In order for it to go mass market, it's got to play by the rules, whatever those new rules may be. Now, I would rather sit on the side of a fence going, I run a DeFi project, a crypto project, where, we might make a few quid here and there and a few other people do, but it remains popular to 1 or 2%. Well, fundamentally, the project's not about that. I'd rather it appeal to the 98%, because that's where we make the real difference, not just financially, but in everything that we do. So, that's where the project is going to go. It's going to go to the 98%, not to the 2%. It's just that all of us here will do really, really well out of it because we've been in the 2% beforehand. So, yeah, I think it's happy days ahead. I think we are well positioned. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. Simon, Jessica, we've got a meeting with her at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I've just booked it in. So, real things happen all the time. I've often said that, we'll be on AMAs and things will happen. So that's what the nature of this project is like. We're getting things booked in. We're having the meetings. We're making stuff happen. So, let's rock and roll for next year, guys.
Yeah, it's so important that we're coming up on everybody's radar now. And it's taken so long because a lot of the meeting we had with PBJ management in the UK, and we will be going to meet them in London probably towards the end of January, and they are going to run a show. I don't know whether we mentioned that. They're going to run a show probably mid-January. They have some really big names, the biggest names in the UK by far, right? Like if people started reeling off a list of all the famous comedians, they'd probably have half of them at least. Now, put yourself in their shoes. They're I don't want to say ordinary people, right? But what I want to say is they're non-DeFi people. They don't get crypto, or they probably think crypto is a Ponzi scheme, or they've sat on the outside of it. A lot of people have sat there for a long time on the wrong side of it going, yeah, it's just a load of shit. It's going to disappear. It's like, right? Well, they're starting to realise, actually, it's serious and it's going to take over the entire globe. And then they say, oh, that metaverse thing, yeah, that was tried before, like 15, 20 years ago with, Sims and stuff like that, and, other worlds. And it's ridiculous, right? It'll go away. Well, this time, now that the tech is there, it's not going to go away. And they're starting to think, then they start hearing from their comedians, whoa, yeah, metaverse, that sounds cool. Why don't we ever go at that? Because they're looking for other audiences. And then you've got a group of 10 people sat around a table going, a mixture of ages, admittedly. Like when we met with them, there's a mixture of people in their probably maybe teenage, late teens or early 20s, right? Then some, late 20s and mid 30s, and then some older people who, you've got 2 50-year-old guys running this project, right? And I think we realised a lot more quickly than a lot of other people what's going on because of our backgrounds and where we've, because I love tech anyway. I've always been into crypto, and I know where it's going, or I think I know where it's going. But when you get that group of people sat around the table and they are apprehensive, to say the least, they've got brands to protect, and they're going, well, how do we make money out of this? And it takes a lot of explanation to even get the meetings. And these meetings happened, well, I think the first one we had with them was about 9 months ago. And
yeah, it was.
It's taken until now to get them round a table where they are going, we're excited about it. We want to have a go. Let's see where we can do it. And, we're not having to pay for that. We're going to show them what it's all about, prove to them how great it is, and get them excited and get their comedians excited about it. And then it'll be all systems go, right? And then we'll be starting to be able to talk to sponsors and going, well, we've got this name and that name, and we're running this festival, right? And there's going to be that many million people watching, because that's what's going to happen. With a tie-up with a tie-up with the Super Bowl, and the people that we've already talked about on this AMA getting involved, I can't see how we don't do what we're saying we're going to do. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Jane, I'm just wondering if there's any questions that people have got, because I haven't been bobbing back and forth with the live chat. Just wondering if there's anybody. Put your hand up if you've got any questions, or you want to come on stage, or you just want to talk to us, because
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay. So look, what we're going to do is we are going to get everybody into the VIP for next week. We are going to start that education piece. There will be obviously it'll be recorded, because we don't necessarily want everybody to have to turn up live all the time, because I know some people are making a big effort to get here. We're not probably the best time for the US audience. We could do with getting a few more of those Twitter spaces going. But it's, as I say, all of the social is now, the team is being built around the social to get it going everywhere. I know Antoine, you're going to be working on some 4 reels for us, and is he going to talk to us? Let's see if he's. Go on, Antoine. Are you there? No, he's got. Look, just when you call on him to rustle up some noise, he's not available.
Yeah, I'm right here. What's going on?
What's going on? You're gonna get some stuff going on Insta for us, are you?
Yes, sir. I'm going to get some stuff going on. Whatever you need me to do. I just want to say to everybody in the audience and all the founders and stuff of that nature that we've been doing this for a year and we've been patient. If y'all continue to be patient, you got the best founders and owners in the space. We're not trying to trick. No scam, no spam. It's all authentic, and everybody will benefit from this. So. And I'm going to do everything in my power, because I've been here, not from day 1, maybe from day 2, but I've been around. And, I appreciate them for being just, with clarity and an open book and not trying to hide behind the desk. And everybody should be thankful for Anthony and Simon, and especially Jane, too. Everybody that's on our team, from Mark to 3K, everybody who put in their time, Domingo. This is a great project, and it will be the future of crypto, NFTs, and comedy. Yeah, I will be doing that for you on Instagram. Yes.
Are you going to be able to make it to Miami if we're going there?
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be in Miami. Yes, sir. When y'all touch down, I'm touching down. Yes, sir.
Antoine, I need to connect you up with a couple of people who are also helping on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But that new marketing channel on Discord, I'll be sorting that out the next couple of days and giving people bits of training and stuff. Okay.
Okay, I got you.
And if there are people in the audience who want to get involved in helping with our social, even on a small level, let us know, because we will. Any help is great, and as we grow, we're going to need people that really want to just do a bit, spread the workload, and help everybody. So,
the more the merrier. We get people to help us, the easier it is for everyone, because that just makes it easier for people. Especially in the US, we need as much help we can get. So I appreciate anybody who wants to help.
Oh, my man JJ's turned up. I'm wondering, put your hand up, JJ, if you're listening, and if you want to come on stage and talk for a second. I don't know whether you want to do. He might. Yeah, let's see if we can get JJ up on stage. I've invited you on if you want to accept it. For those of you who don't know, I'm not going to dox him. Heaven forbid if I did that. I've invited you on, JJ, in case you want to come on stage. But he knows an awful lot about the background of the project, and also is very privileged to be in a position where he's got a lot of access to a lot of very senior people in the DeFi space, and he knows a lot of what's going on. But I don't know whether he's unable to. Oh, there he comes. You there, man?
Hello?
Hey, man, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. This is the first time I've actually used a Discord live chat. I've always just listened.
All right. No, I just thought if you don't, I know we don't often. He's gone. He's immediately jumped off. I'll invite him back on. He's like, he's almost as bad as you, Price, technically.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know, look, we all know that Discord is a bit of a loose cannon.
Shit.
Yeah, no, so I want you to come on, steady on. Yeah, no, I know you've called it a few things. Hey, he's back.
I've had to hit accept 3 times and it pops up in a different window. This is the worst UI I've ever used.
Yeah, it's not the best. They will get their act together, I'm sure, in future. But I don't know how much you caught of today's AMA, but we're pretty much in a position where we've got everything lined up. We're just now waiting for the market to turn. One of the things would be possibly interesting to hear from you would be where you think the market is and where it might go next year.
Okay, so the way the whole macro picture looks right now is I don't know how much you guys are discussing about certain types of politics going on, but with what happens with Russia and Ukraine the next couple of months will dictate where the economies start to push on either side. And right now with the central bank trying to introduce their central bank digital currency, that's just a massive onboarding for crypto. So crypto's not going to get hit as bad as everyone thinks it's going to get hit in the long run. In the long run, we're the inevitability. And in the short term, we're pretty much flight to safety for anybody who can't buy silver or gold. So I think that we're going to see a bear market rally soon. But I think the overall trend is crypto is going to have a bull run in a couple of years. So we have plenty of time to build.
Well, I genuinely hope it isn't a couple of years. I probably, in my heart of hearts, I believe that's probably the case. Yeah.
Think of it this way: like the market's turned bear about a year and a half ago, and we're about halfway to the next bull run. So look at it in big picture time frame. Like a year or two sounds like a lot. It really does. But when you're looking at project development and business growth, it's how you're actually supposed to be charting farming a business where you plant and then you harvest in a couple of seasons.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I know you and I need to have a conversation offline about contracts and taking things further with some of those launch pads. That'd be good because
well, when it comes to the actual token launch, we want to be launching the token when everyone's in a positive spend-worthy mood and they're looking for new projects. Right now, with the way the market is, no one's even looking at crypto, even in regards to crypto videos, because it just makes them feel bad about their own portfolio. But when everyone sees the market moving up, they become more open to new projects, and that's when we start onboarding new people. And that's around the time we want to be launching token.
Yeah, so it's more about sentiment, and when that sentiment
Exactly.
shifts early, look, that could shift March, April, May next year for a period.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So the actual bull run, yeah, you're right. If we can, well, like I said to everybody on this AMA, if we can make sure that we're all positioned properly before that proper bull run comes, and you've got the right projects on your list, like there's so much opportunity like you wouldn't believe, right?
Right now, our main objective here with Joke, it's the same objective I have in my big term projects with all the little projects I'm working with, is community building. So that as the crypto ecosphere develops, we want to be some of the old veterans that have our reach everywhere.
Yeah, and that's really the tie-up that we've secured to happen with the Super Bowl project and the NFL next year. That's going to bring us, touch wood, exposure to 5 to 10 million users, and that's going to just put us off the scale, right? That community building, you're right. When we get to those number of people, and that proposal I have in my email, Andy and I were discussing it earlier. That deal, I think, is, well, it's just a case of putting that to putting a signature on it and making sure that all parties are happy. We're going to, obviously, I'm just checking that the people that have put the deal in front of me are not in the AMA, because I don't want to say that I'm going to negotiate hard, because I'm going to. But we're going to negotiate a deal there that, because it's going to be a long-term deal that's going to get built into the contract. So that's a long-term partner, and that's somebody who's going to take this project wherever we want to go. You know, in terms of the relationships that they've got, the contacts they've got, the sponsors, you know, when they are the people that have put us in touch with the leadership at Polygon, and hence why we're choosing to go in that direction. I cannot be like, I want to be more excited, right? I don't think it's possible at this point, other than, you know, if we had the launch date and we knew the market was positive, then we would be like having a party, because we know everything's ready. But actually, a 2 to 3 month breathing space to build the community, like you say, to build that comedy festival, to build the contracts correctly, and the corporate structure to make sure it's all set up properly for when we launch that, and to make sure that we can get on stage in Miami next year and get everything in front of as many people as possible. So hopefully JJ, maybe we can see you in Miami as well, right?
That'd sound amazing. Yeah, I'm not so caught up right now on the NFL stuff, and so I have to actually do some catching up with where Joke is right now. So yeah, we do need to talk after this. But yeah, everything you're talking about, like, these are long-term projections and long-term success plans, and they are going to take time to build. So right now, not having a token is actually a good thing, because it's unnecessary. Setting this all up so from launch, it's just consistent, steady growth forward, because people will see that this is an actual project. Things are being built here. There's actually a plan, and there's actually substance. This alone is a winning strategy.
Cool. No, it's good to see you on here. Did you just get a notification on Discord that brought you on?
I just turned on my Android phone, and my whole daily ecosystem is on Apple, and Android is the only phone that has Discord notifications on. So I just saw it right at the turn of my phone in.
Okay, cool. Look, we really do appreciate everybody turning up every week. Hopefully we'll give you some value. We are going to give you more value next week with the VIP group starting that training. I will make sure everybody's in that group. If you're not in VIP at the moment and you think you should be, can you please send me a DM? You will have to friend me first, because I won't DM you first, remember. But I will make sure that everybody who deserves to be in that group is in it, ready for next week. We'll announce what those people are getting during the AMA next week and give them some clear direction of what you need to do. In the meantime, please, tell people to go and watch that show in the Manchester club in the Infiniverse, right? Go and watch the Frog and Bucket show, because you will see what we are achieving. You will see the type of people that we are partnering with, and you'll see where this project is seriously getting involved with the best of the best, right? Get in there, watch it, spread the word, right? That is the key thing. Spread the word. Get people to come and watch. And once they watch, then they can ask the question, what's this project all about? And then hopefully they come and turn up and listen to us old geezers rattling on about something that we're trying to build that we believe is going to be the biggest, the best, and the number one brand for comedy in the metaverse forever. Why not? So, look, thank you all for coming this week. I really do appreciate it. We're going to wrap it up now. I'm going to stop the live stream. I will hang around for 5 or 10 minutes if people want to DM me. But otherwise, we will see you